We're live. A little bit of an echo. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to Untapped. I'm Matthew Troop, and this is
Lauren Spranger.
I am excited to be here tonight. I'm excited with my fellow partner coach.
Absolutely.
We are going to, this is an intro night. This is an intro night for our 8-week boot camp to break through barriers and get serious AF about your life. You can't say the words. Can we say the words?
Pretty sure my mic is muted.
Oh, you're gonna be muted because you're just speaking. Talking on mine. We're just gonna pick it up on mine. We're going.
Bear with me, guys.
We're going with the flow, everybody. But that's how this stuff is. It's live, and
Okay. Sorry,
and
Jazz.
even when we do it in person, it's good to go with this stuff. So, yeah,
we're real, you guys. I'll tell you that much.
We're excited to be here. So, Lauren, do you want to give them a little bit more of an introduction and talk about Untapped? We can go back and forth, talk about Untapped for a minute.
Absolutely. So we kind of came up even with this name, you guys, as we were, going back and forth. And Matt and I are both down at this co-working space that we're doing our YouTube channel through right now. Shout out to them. They're amazing. They're on Washington Street. And I just, I work at MQT Nutrition. I've been coming down there because I have a membership through my shop. But I've gotten so much out of it just by coming and collaborating with like-minded people who either have their own business or, like me, I don't have my own business, but I'm, I do my own personal training and stuff, but I work for this nutrition shop, and they send people like me down there to collaborate and get together with other people in the community who have small businesses or work for small businesses, or just interested in the, the community side of that. And that's what Campfire Co-working is so beneficial. And I've gotten so much out of it. So Matt and I met through that. And then we actually ended up both doing a presentation happenstance on the same day.
We did. Yep.
We sure did. And I was talking all about vision boards, and Matt was talking about vision, and we were like, you know what, we should put together a course on this. So that's really how it started. And then from there, we thought, how can we reach more people? And so this, of course, we're doing tonight with this virtual option that you guys are viewing right now. And we hope to continue to have you guys be able to watch in the future, or other people come along and do that. So one, shout out to Campfire for making this possible. And two, I'm glad you guys are here. And we came up with that name Untapped for this whole 8-week program, because it really is about finding your potential, which Matt and I are both, we'll tell you a little bit more about our background, but very involved or passionate about for sure. Is just about, we all have this potential in us, and a lot of us never really tap into what we can actually be, whether it comes to our career or our personal life. We're out of balance in some area. So it's really just digging deep and finding, where are those areas that you want to excel in that you feel limited right now.
Yeah, no, great points, Lauren. And basically, tapping into your potential, tapping into the potential of what you could be. And again, this is how we landed on this program, was two like-minded coaches realizing that we like to collaborate with each other. We like to collaborate with high-performing individuals, and we want to help others get to that new place where they want to go.
Right.
So that's where we're going to go. This is an 8-week program, and we want to start out with asking some key questions of who you are, and we want you to think about things of who you are, and we also want to describe a bit of who we are. So we'll start out who we are. Lauren Spranger and Matt Troop. My name's Matt. I've lived here in Marquette for the past 2 years, and basically I always like to tell the story of I came out of college, I did the thing where I went to college for years. I got my engineering degrees, I got my master's degree in engineering, and I was working in a field that I was working in a job that I just ultimately found very, very unfulfilling. And I worked there for almost a decade, and I just found this feeling of, oftentimes, and I'll use the word dread with a job, and many of you may be able to relate to that. where you're doing something day in, day out, and you feel this feeling of dread. And in our culture and our society, we often feel that a lot. And I decided to make a change. I started surrounding myself with the right people. I started doing the things. I started reading the books and going down the path of what I wanted to do to make my life more fulfilled. And this really started started, nearly 8-10 years ago about reading the books. And then I started down the path of investing in real estate and figuring out basically how to, I always ask the question of how I live life on my own terms. And I'll tell you guys, a quick story is I remember reading this article, and the article was about the top 5 regrets of the dying. And you guys have probably heard me, some people probably heard me tell this story before. But one thing that really stuck in my mind was in this article, it said the top 5 regrets of the dying. And they interviewed people in hospice on their dying days. And they asked these people their top regrets. The number 1 regret of the dying was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life more true to myself. And ever since then, that stuck with me. And I've always been constantly striving to sit here and ask myself, are you doing the thing that makes you fulfilled? Are you doing something that fills you up each and every day? Are you surrounding yourself with the right people that make you live life on your terms and how you want it? So that's a piece of who I am: entrepreneur, real estate coach, high performance coach. And here we are today doing this course. I'm gonna hand it over to Lauren and tell a little bit about yourself, Lauren.
Well, I can, we're very different, Matt, but I can resonate with that a lot. And I think, like Matt said, a lot of you guys can too. And just to Matt's point really quick before I talk about what I do, but I think that a lot of us, we're living in a society where a lot of people are finding a lot of discontent in a 9-to-5 job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big, topic that our culture is going to be kind of jumping into. And, COVID has certainly sped that up with our virtual world becoming a lot more of actually like a viable option for people. But I think that this, talking about this stuff is really important too, because a lot of people like the idea of, living life on their own terms, but that doesn't mean that there's no responsibility involved. And that doesn't mean, that you get to just work when you want to. And actually it's really hard. And there's a lot that's involved with setting your own. It is. It's harder. It's harder than going to a 9-to-5 job, but it's also more fulfilling. And that's why we're here, is to really kind of bring that across. And that's something, I'm 28. I just turned 28, and something that I'm like continuing to learn and work towards. It's a progression. Is not just like a light switch. Like, it's not just a flipping the switch and all of a sudden you own you have your own thing going. But it's like, if you're interested in being an entrepreneur, or, like starting that own route where you have more freedom and flexibility, and that's different. It looks different for everyone. Living life on your own terms doesn't mean you have to own your own business, because there's a lot of responsibility with that. But it does mean finding a vocation that fits you and feels true and right to you. And whether maybe that means you own it, and maybe that means that you work, in collaboration with people, or you work for somebody. But it's really about finding a fit that you like wake up every morning ready to go, excited for whatever you're doing. And that's what we're trying to get you guys to. So my story a little bit is I started out in college as a nursing major, and I was there for a semester, and I was already not convinced even going in that's what I wanted to do, but it's what my mom wanted me to do. And I switched after a semester, ended up going for exercise science. I was running track and field and just thought I wanted to do something. My mom's a physical therapist, so something kind of in that realm. I graduated with an undergrad in exercise science, and my first job was at a gym, and I kind of went the personal training route. So I'm a certified personal trainer through the NSCA, and that's been a great fit for me. I love just making personal connection and working with people. But up until 2019, I was always employed, for somebody else at a gym. And I kind of found that just personal training really wasn't where my interest fully lied. So I I'm not going to say through happenstance, because it wasn't at all. It was because I kind of put the work in to figure out okay, so if I don't want to do this, or if I don't want to just work for a gym, what do I want to do? And I ended up doing this online year-long program through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And it was really all about how do you be a health and nutrition coach. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so that was a great fit for me because I've learned lots about nutrition on that journey. So I did that for a year, and I ended up basically, it changed. It was just like, actually there was a lot of exercises in it that we're going to have you guys doing that Matt and I have kind of collaboratively put together. One of them, like, it's called the Circle of Life, and it like forced you to look at all these different parts of your life and say, where are you out of balance right now, and what do you need to do to change it? So that was kind of a launch point for me. And once I started that year-long course, I actually ended up taking a whole different job, and was suddenly found myself aligned with just the right people that I needed to break out of the corporate world and end up working for and with really a small local company. It's a nutrition shop. I'm like 100% happy there and know that's where I'm supposed to be. So I do a lot of health coaching out of the shop. And then I also still do my personal training employed by myself, where I just rent out space at gyms. So that's kind of been my journey. And like I said, I'm just continuing to learn how do you, become your own boss, really, if that's what you're interested in. But like I said, whether you are or not, it's really about finding what you love. So for me, that's the health and nutrition world, as well as just like creativity and being, we're kind of I'm the creative director over at the shop now, and just learning about like, how do you put creativity into what you do, even in a science-based field. So that's me. And I'm just really excited to be here with you guys and Matt, going through this together.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So, we've given you guys a little bit of introduction about who we are as coaches. We're going to be your guides. A coach is a guide. They guide people. And this is not about us. This is the journey about you. This is why you're here. And this is where we're going to get into who you are. We want you to understand who you're working with. But this is a question that you need to look at and ask yourself. This whole program, this is an 8-week program. Like Lauren said, we're going to be taking you through many different programs, many different exercises along the way. We're going to go over what that 8-week program looks like at the end of this, but wanted to give you an introduction. And, Lauren said something where you're working right now and what you're doing, you said you found a place. You found a place. Mm-hmm. And, I think this is a thing where Lauren and I have landed on working together. We've realized the things that we're doing are places where we found ourselves. We are on the path. We've figured out things on the path, and the path is going to be a large portion of what we talk about. So this is really a question, and it's even more, it's a lot of fun when you get in groups like this, and when we do group coaching and we introduce this question. We sit here and we ask you, who are you? Like, who is the person on the other side that we're talking to? And realistically, here's what we're going to do. We're going to answer this question a little bit. You are here, and who you are is your person who's here because you're looking to go someplace new. You're looking to figure out steps on where you want to go in life. Something is not working and you want to change it. You're ready for some growth. You're ready for some change, and you want to take action and do that. I will give you a hint and say you're in the right room. You're in the right place.
That's right.
And this is a great place to be. Do you want to say any more about that?
I think just that when it comes to, growth, there's a lot of areas you can grow. And, when we wrote up this email to people, we were like, well, who is this course for? And we've talked a lot about that. And really it is, like we've already mentioned, if you're an entrepreneur, of course, this course is for you. We both, but Matt has a lot of experience in walking through that path with entrepreneurs of like, how do you actually break out of the corporate world and start doing your own thing? But also we talked about, say you already have your own business, you are an entrepreneur, but you feel a lot of times that ends up in an imbalance in other areas of your life because so much is dedicated towards your business. This is also for you. We're not just talking about growing your business. We're also talking about your health. We're talking about your finances. We're talking about your personal life. Yeah, I know, scary, your personal life. But fortunately, if you're on the other side of the screen, we can't get too much into your business. But that's, it's really, you can be wanting to grow in a lot of different ways and take this course. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, but hopefully as a group, we're going to be able to really hone in on what you're interested in as well.
Yes. Great points. And so, yeah, just to reiterate why you're here. You are here because you are looking for growth. And what Lauren said was, we're entrepreneurs. We are in this space. But this course, this is designed for anybody in whatever stage in life you're at, whether you're a small business owner, whether you are just starting out on the path of personal growth, whether you are at a full-time job that you find very unfulfilling and you're like, I need something new, whether or not you're in a relationship or you're struggling with your finances. All of these areas are things that we're going to discuss, and it's an overview of all of these areas of life where you can improve on.
Well, I'm laughing. So I'm just thinking about, I thought I was, when I took that IIN course, that I was going to go into that to come out with a health coaching career. And I did, but they were like, well, you can't do that if you aren't willing to do it yourself. So then they, forced you to pick apart different areas of your life. So I ended up like changing, the relationship I was in and changing where I lived and like all this stuff. Not that you need to move, but it is interesting. I'm like, when you're willing to change and grow, where life will actually take you when you do that. 100%. So also, I guess I'll ask for forgiveness later if this is not correct, but this question, why are you here? If you guys are watching, we would love to know why you in particular are here. Yeah. So please, please, please feel free to drop like a comment, either if you're watching on YouTube, just below the YouTube video, or wherever you're watching on Facebook, put a comment in there. We would love to hear who you are and why you are here watching this.
Great points. Yeah. Okay. So why now? Drop that comment.
Great question.
Great one to follow up in the chat, in the group. But this is a powerful question that I've been asked by so many of my mentors, and so many times when I've taken courses like this, is why now? And the reason you're here now is because you've gotten to a point in your life where you said, I need change. Yep. I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over. I want to learn something new. I want to go on a new path. I want to go on a new journey. And it's like that same old phrase of like, no more, never again, enough, I'm done. I'm ready to change and I'm ready to grow. And so many people, it's the classic line of, people are overwhelmed with information and dying for wisdom. And it's so hard to get that, especially in today's society. And that's why people are here now doing this.
Absolutely. So hopefully we leave you with some wisdom.
We will.
Not just more knowledge.
Endless wisdom. So here's the model. Okay. I always like to work in triangles, sometimes simplify it. Here's what we're going after is, I want you to write this down. If you're in the group, I want you to write this down. I always love having people write their triangles down and write what they're going after. But here's what we're doing is you have this one life. You are working on things and you have a vision of where you want to go. That is tied with growth, and you want to expand on all of those things. And so I want you to look at it like this. And this is going to be a great conversation once we get into, I think it's week 3, week 2 or 3, when we talk about vision.
Week
3. So when we talk about vision, this is something that's incredibly powerful. Is that oftentimes it's like in life where we're working on things and we get to a point in life, and sometimes you get beaten down so much where you almost want to give up. And what our goal is to, reignite that fire and help you figure out how to take the steps to figure out that vision. And we're going to take you through some exercises, and we're going to do that. But to go along that path and figure that stuff out, that's going to take a little growth. You're going to have some growth with that. And when you have the growth and when you have vision, you're going to expand. You're going to expand as a person. Your mind's going to expand. Your beliefs are going to expand. Your finances are going to expand. All this stuff. When you go on this path of personal growth, everything expands in your world. So there's your model. I want everybody, if you're in this group, I want you to write that down, right? It's always simplified when you have a triangle and you hit on, a few key topics. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Ready to keep moving?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't even get me started on vision. I'll get way out of the triangle.
No, we gotta stay focused on this.
Star
one.
Going and okay.
Oh no, it's good. It's and this that's what's fun about this is this is an intro. We want people to be excited about what the intro looks like, and I think at the end, we're going to talk about all these things, and we want to give you a little taste of the different things that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So, I want to make sure, we're going back and forth, but so here's the thing. Here's where so many of us are at, right? The problem. Here's the problem where many of us are at in life. You feel stuck. You're faced with so many choices, and you're missing out on leadership and mentorship, and you don't know where to go, right? I always love that the second one is, especially right now. I mean, you're faced with so many choices. It's FOMO. It's fear of missing out from everything. How many times do you see on the internet? I mean, do this, go this way, work on this thing. And it's almost like you have so many things that you could work on, and it just is like, it's debilitating. And this is one thing we're going to work on. We're going to work on focus. And when these things happen, you feel stuck. And even the bottom one too. That's why we're here. It's my life changed, and I want to go on what you've noticed in this field, but I can tell you, my life changed when I figured out a way to get mentors, and when I figured out how to get leaders in my life, the right leaders. And I'll probably use this phrase over and over and over as we go through this course, but you become the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I want you guys to think about that. Who's ever in the group, who's ever in the chat, if you're watching this, I literally want you to make a list of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I guarantee you that the habits, the things that you're doing are going to come down to the details of those same things that those 5 people are doing, all the way down to your bank account.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. Okay. So the problem. Anything else?
Yeah, I love that you really do become who you're surrounding yourself with. And just to be clear, that doesn't mean that you should go out and ditch those people if they're toxic. But what we are saying is that if you only have people that aren't building you up or growing you, you can hang on to those people, but you need to start spending time with people who will ask you to level up. Yep. And you need to have those people in your life, more than one, but one's a great start. Find that person who's living a life that you want to, not that you want to have, but living a life that you look up to and want to be like that person, and make sure they are in your life a lot, because you need people pouring into you. If you're just pouring out to all your people that aren't living life how you want to, you're going to end up looking at that and going, oh yeah, I can see that those habits are rubbing off on me.
Yeah.
Also, on the faced with too many choices, I feel like that is definitely a huge.
It's endless.
It is, and we do have information overload now. Mm-hmm. Just really quick on that, I was listening to a podcast years ago now. I not even remember who it was, but he was saying that it all stuck with me, because even in college, I was like, "Whoa, what college do I go to?" And my dad, I was like, if I make the wrong decision, my whole life goes this way when it should have gone that way. Yeah. My dad's like, dude, pick a college and then make the right choices when you go to that school, regardless of where it is. my dad was very right. But I didn't listen to that until the podcast when this guy was like, gave a great podcast and was talking about his kids. And he was saying, just pick something, just do something. Yep. It doesn't have to be, there's no wrong or right. If it's not the thing, it's the thing that will lead to the thing.
Let's go into the opportunity, right? Great transition into the opportunity.
Thanks. Plan that.
Yeah, no. And it's spot on to what you just said is we have endless choices out there. But right, with all those problems, there's an opportunity. There's always an opportunity. And that's even the great piece about surrounding yourself in groups like this is here's what happens is when you start to take this path is you start to create traction. When you focus and pick something, you start to form a strategy.
But like something, not the thing. Hopefully it's the thing, but if it's not the thing, it's something.
You can always adjust.
Yeah, you can always adjust.
Always adjust.
So take that stress off yourself and off the table.
Sometimes I feel like personal growth is like, oh my God, I'm stressed. I got to figure out and do all this stuff.
No, just do something that
it's
challenging to you.
It's
what you want to do.
It is. It's an opportunity to figure out what path you want to go on, to surround yourself with the right support system, and to start developing a strategy and really starting. And this is the one that I always land on is you start to, once you start going down this path of personal growth and improvement, is you start to create traction on the things that you want to work on and the things that you basically want to create a focus on and start going on in your life. And again, all of these things that we're going to go over on our 8-week boot camp are going to help you start to not even start, but you're going to have these realizations that come to your mind of, oh, that's where I can improve on that. That's where I can change. That's where I can level up.
The more you think about it, the more subconsciously you start to do it. Your thoughts become your actions.
Where focus goes, energy flows. Write that one down.
Just full of.
Write that one down. I'm in the zone, man. I get in the zone. So the opportunity. So here's what it's like. I was thinking about this is, and this is what this course is about. This 8-week course. You're with two high performance coaches that are on the path. We've taken the path. We're working on this. We're going to be there with you. But the analogy is you are on your path. You're not exactly sure you want to get to the top. You are working on where you want to go. You don't know how to get there. There's so many steps you can take along the way and get lost.
Or you do know, but you don't have the accountability to do it. Because I work with a lot of people that they know how to eat healthy, but if they don't meet with me every 2 weeks, they still don't eat healthy. So it could be one or the other or a little bit of both.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's a great point. It's a great point. Like, health and wellness coach, when I go into talking real estate, it's, they know what they need to do to take action. They know the action steps they need to take. We meet weekly with clients because you got to stay on track.
Most people are extrinsically motivated, and that's fine. It's good to know that about yourself and to jump onto a community of people who are going to push you to find that path and stick to it.
And the power of the group, the power of surrounding yourself with others is you're going to get that. Yeah, you're going to get that accountability. They're going to drag you along to the top. They're going to drag you along when you
kicking and screaming, baby.
It's the power of proximity. When you start to surround yourself with people who are growth minded, who have figured these things out in life on where to go, it's a natural cause of what's going to happen. When you surround yourself, you're going to go along with them.
Yep.
Okay. So here is the big question. And I'm going to stay quiet for a second because I want you to look and read this question. We started out with this. We started out talking in our session about this. This is the question I feel like one has really resonated with me. Lauren and I have talked about what this program looks like. And we believe that the people that we want to have in this program are the ones, and even in our own circle, it's we want them and even ourselves to have this life where it's what we want out of life. So often we're doing things that appease others. You know, we're working on projects and things that just, it doesn't fill us up. It's not what we want to be doing. And so I want to ask that question of everybody who's looking at this program right now. What would it really look like to live a life completely true to yourself? I want you to think about that question, about what the regrets of people dying said, the top 5 regrets. It's a hard, like sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow when you get there. And I mean, to me, when I've seen it, I've seen people that are at those end stages of life, and you know, it's sometimes unfortunate because they haven't had the courage to do the things over their life that they really want to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely keep diving more into that. And I think that really is, that's the question of the night for sure. And the question of what, you know, I mean, it can take a good week or a good 8 weeks to really answer that question. And that's, you know, that's all right. If you guys look at this and
it's
you're
more
like,
than 8 weeks. I mean, yeah,
you're like,
when you get on this path, you start to figure things out.
Mm-hmm. And you continue to, you know, I mean, we're all living a life that's, you know, you get on the path, but certainly it's a, you know, you're a work in progress always. But once there's a difference between a work in progress and feeling misaligned or missing out, you know, and
Absolutely.
It's like you get aligned and then you stay on that path. I do want to say on this question, I think, like Matt just said, it's something, actually, I'm going to even one up Matt, instead of just thinking about it. I think you guys should write it down and don't feel like you have to have all the answers right now. Like we just said, it takes a while, but at least start. Just write it down. Something that I've done in the past that's been a really cool exercise is to write down, if you think about like, what does life look like some people that excites them. They're like, heck yeah, I'm going to write down what I feel, you know, what would be so great if my life looked like this. And other people are like, what? Like, I don't know. What the hell? And that is okay. Either reaction is fine. I've had friends go both ways, but like, we're going to challenge you on this course. So look at that question. Don't be afraid of it. Don't feel like you have to have all the answers right now. But a really good exercise, if that's kind of a really daunting question, is to start with, write down what a day in an ideal life to you would look like. You know, get up in the morning. What time would you get up at? What would be the first thing that you did? What would you eat? Like, the more detailed, the better. What would would your career be? What would that look like in a day? You know, where would you go? What would you do? Who would you interact with? And just like, take the time to do that. And no strings attached, you know, like, okay, I have, 9 kids and 3 turtles and I don't know. Just write down what an ideal day would look like in your life. And we can figure out from there, how do we make that actually work in your life?
I want to give you guys a little taste. What Lauren just described there was something that she's going to even dive into deeper as we get into this 8-week course. So yes, great point on that one. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about, and here's where, again, this is an intro session, and this is more high level. This is a high level view of what this course is going to look like. But what we want to do right now is I want to talk about things that we've discovered along the way, and they're little secrets. They're little pieces that we've discovered along the way. And as you go through this 8-week course, you're going to discover some of these pieces as well. And we're going to help extract and pull these out of you. Okay.
He's really intense.
I love this stuff. I get juiced. I get jazzed on this stuff.
Don't be scared. We'll keep your innards in your body.
No, but one of this, there are things, and I want to tell you a little bit about like the story of how this happened to me is you figure out these secrets along the way. And I want to give these secrets in there, right? Dormant forces, consistency, and keep pursuing. So the first one that I want to talk about is dormant forces. And I want you to think about this. And I know all of you have it. We all have this. I remember being in my job, right? That's where I started. I was in a 9-to-5 job where I was very unfulfilled. You know, shortly after college, I found myself, it's a great job, but I sat there and I said, you know, is this really what I want to be doing? Do I want to stay on this path? Do I want to keep doing this stuff? And maybe this will speak to some of you. Maybe this will speak to some of you who are in a job, who are working for somebody else, who's just doing something that you don't find fulfilling. And I know that there's something inside of you that says there's more to life. There's more to something that I want out. And I want to tell you that that's inside of you. And I call it Dormant Forces. And I want to tell you a story because I'll always go to my books, but I was listening to a book by Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer, and I was in my car and I'm driving along, and he said this word, dormant forces. And there was something in me that just snapped. And I was like, he said, there's power within you and potential within you that you do not yet know exists, but it's within you. And ever since that, I heard that, I started working towards that, right? I focused on that dormant forces, and I figured out how to tap into that. And it wasn't overnight. It's definitely not overnight. It takes time. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort, but you have to stay on that. That's the first secret. Dormant forces.
Dormant forces. Anything I should add?
I'm just taking a drink. I was getting all choked
cool.
up there.
Sneak in while he's drinking. Valid point. I think that happened a little bit different for me. I just I don't know. I don't know if it's my parents' reinforcement or what. Maybe it was that most corporate jobs would not find my skill sets overly valuable. I don't know. I'm just saying, I mean, even the personal training route, that's my mom was so concerned for me because she came from that world, you know, years ago when there wasn't much of a field there, and now there is, but you know, and training and stuff is so much more prevalent, but still it's definitely a field where you navigate your own way. And I was discouraged from it. I finally have full support, you know, of my family and stuff as I navigate this, but like, I've always known that there's I've always loved the word potential. And, you know, any book that's about, you know, I read this one by John Ortberg that my mom gave me. It was like called The Me I Want to Be. And even then middle school, I was reading these books that I felt were I was like, this is the stuff, you know, it's like, like I want to be the most you know, live the richest life. And I'll get more into, you know, some people in my own personal life in the coming weeks when we talk about vision and stuff that have been great examples to me of what's a life well lived, because they, you know, had those, they have recognized the power within them and lived their life in a way aligned, as we keep talking about, that allows them to actually release that, which is why you can see our logo is a volcano.
I feel like, we maybe could have a piece we could have put into ours, maybe alignment, right? It's so much getting stuff in alignment. But
this whole thing is alignment.
Yeah. And you know, I love what you said about, and the word I was going to use with what you just said was expectation. Is there's often so much expectation of what people and others put on us that we don't put ourselves forward. And again, it's that little piece of us that sometimes get crushed along the path. And I want who's ever watching this, who's ever listening, this is, you know, there's a reason you're on this, because you're trying to learn and you're trying to tap into those dormant forces and pull that, you know, reignite that thing, untap it.
We all have potential, but when it's used the wrong way, or you're in the wrong spot to really use your God-given gifts and talents, then it just stays dormant. So, yeah.
Okay. The next secret. I'm going to use this a lot. This is, I love my graphs. I love my charts. I'm an engineer by trade. And numbers and charts always made sense to me. And this is kind of funny, actually.
Mom, if you're watching,
I literally,
you know.
I literally made this. I made this chart on Excel, and I call it the 2 millimeter shift. And it's consistency. And it's just like I said, right? Same thing with those dormant forces. You know, 10 years ago, it was probably over 10 years ago, is when I really feel like I started this journey. And there's something that I I've taken over the years. I've gone to so many personal growth seminars, so many events where I've learned so many things about just human potential, human growth, my own human potential. And it's this 2 millimeter shift. And I want to use this graph and as an analogy. You can see it's small little changes.
Mm-hmm.
Small changes lead to big things. And I want you to hold on to that. I want you to hold on to that idea, is start with small changes. And the analogy I want to give is that it's like when we try and people starting a gym membership in January, 90% of them by February, have fallen off, or we go to start a new project. Think about like one of the things that I've been working on is it's like writing a book, right? And I've given myself a challenge of writing a book. The book doesn't happen in a week. The book doesn't happen in a month, but steady, consistent writing down creates change. And it's like it's created a lot. And the same thing like from my financial path. It's you do one thing and you keep working on that thing and it expands. And pretty soon from a life, right? I'm trying to like coordinate my hands to mimic this graph, right? If you're on this path and you make a little change right here, it starts to separate. And pretty soon you see you're on this red part over here of this graph because you've made so many changes over years. And I'm going to use this phrase. People overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in a decade. Did I say that right? People overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in a decade.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a hint. You got a long time. I remember 5 years ago, I was like, I want it now. It doesn't happen now. You got to keep working on it. That's secret number 2. Anything to add to that?
Just that I see. Yeah, I feel like I preach that over and over in the nutrition consultation world all the time because people, just like a gym membership, your physique is probably what you want the quickest fix to right now. And it's really not. I love the juice cleanse we have at the shop, but it's not even the fast you do or the, like big calorie restrictions or the crazy measures that you take on some fad diet. It's the consistent habits that aren't that hard, but you got to practice them all the time that end up making the biggest difference for clients in the long run. And that's something that we talk about over and over and over. So absolutely applies to this and nutrition, finances, like Matt said, and all other things we'll be talking about. So
consistent habits.
Consistency is key.
Write that one down. Consistent habits.
And if you think you're not making progress, just look back to where you were 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And if you've been doing your due diligence to at least put effort in, I can guarantee your life probably actually looks a lot different and hopefully a lot better than it did 5 or 10 years ago. But because you did small incremental change, it's almost like your success was sneaky and you might not even notice it. So pay attention. You're probably doing something right that you weren't doing 10 years ago.
That's right. That's one of the exercises we're even going to do. Right? I feel like
Heck yeah.
we're giving away too much. We're giving away. All right. Secret number 3 is this goes along with it. Each of these secrets kind of compounds on each other. It's right. Fall in love with the process and the results create themselves.
I love that quote. That's good.
And
rich.
Yeah. And because I can tell you see this picture. Here's your plan. I'm riding my bike along. Nope. You're gonna fall down. You're gonna fail. You're gonna struggle. Things are gonna go wrong.
Yeah. Don't expect perfection on the journey of growth.
Because
no.
It's you just have to keep going. You have to fall in love with the process. And I'll be honest. This is like right out of Jim Rohn. And people are like, I hear people all the time are like, well, you're not practicing what you preach. And I'm vulnerable to it too, where I'm like, I don't love this process. It's driving me crazy.
Right?
I want the result. And then oftentimes I have to have my partner or a coach of mine. And they're like, Matt, would you enjoy the process a little bit more? I'm like, oh yeah. Right? That's life.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy the process. And on that note, that is, and again, I'm going to go back to my nutrition coaching, that is one of the biggest traps that people fall into over and over and over is that they feel like, oh, I had a donut today. You know what? I'll just start again tomorrow. Or, oh, my New Year's resolution just got shot to hell. I'm just going to wait till next year. Like, no, you know, like don't expect your diet, you know, to be perfect because you're not going to change your habits overnight. Expect it to be up and down. But that's again where you look, say, what are the things I can do consistently? The more consistently you do them, the faster, but it's a process, you'll see those results.
Yep.
And yeah, expect there to be turbulence because your decisions don't change overnight. But always, you know, I'm always telling that with my clients is like, challenge yourself, but give yourself grace. You know, it's like you mess up, get up, dust off your jeans, and keep going.
Yep. Keep pursuing. Keep pursuing. There was something I wanted to say with that. It was like along the line of habits. Yeah, with habits, and it's if you figure out how to fall in love with processes, you may not like something right now. Here is a little hint. Gosh, and we're going to talk about this in our first and in session 1 is habits. It takes 30 days basically for a habit to sink in. If you want to start something new, I'll give the analogy of waking up early. I've done this. I've heard it from people and they're like, I'm not a morning person. Challenge yourself to do something for 30 days consistently. The hardest time will be days like 12 through 15 because the newness will wear off, and days 12 through 15, you're starting to feel it. You're like, I don't like this anymore. This process is annoying, excuse. If you can find a way to break through those patterns and get through those days, it becomes a habit. Baby. It becomes a habit after 30 days. And I've got so many stories on that, but we'll keep those for the boot camp.
Always keep pursuing.
Keep pursuing. Here's the big question. Where we're arriving at with our session tonight, with our intro session. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
For you.
We're here. We are going to take you on an 8-week journey. Do you want to keep going at it alone? Do you want to work with 2 coaches where we're going to be meeting with you each and every week for 8 weeks and going over on these deep dive sessions?
Cue next slide. And we already talked about that, really, is that community is so important.
Yep.
And, you know, even when you form those good habits, if you aren't surrounded with the right people, even a good habit can be broken. And so continuing to plug into a community, starting here with this course, but that's not where it has to end, of people who are committed to your success is a keystone and absolutely critical to growing, you know, to engaging in self-growth.
Yeah.
Matt and I both, neither one of us just woke up one morning and all by ourselves with no support, no mentors or anything. Just, oh, now I'm better. No, it takes mentors. It takes leaders. It takes a course. I took a course. Matt's taken course. He's read every time I talk to him. He's got a new book. He's, you know,
I'm going to force you to read every book.
Forcing down my throat. So you need those people. And certainly, you know, I mean, yeah, you why reinvent the wheel? You got to find people who have already been down that path, at least farther than you, and have them around. Surround yourself with them.
Yep. And so here's some key questions, and we're going to ask them to you right now. We're going to follow up with these at the end, but we're going to hit them right here. It's understanding where you're at right now. Understanding where you're at right now. We're going to build a plan for where you need to go. And then we're going to figure out the things that are holding you back from getting you to where you want to go. That's what this whole program and all this stuff is all about. Is those 3 questions.
3 points, your triangle right there, man.
So there's another 3 points. Threes go, there's power in threes. And I want you to write those down. Is understand where you're at right now in life. We're going to, you know, you can write this out, but this is more stuff that we're going to cover. You're building out a plan from where you need to go, and we're going to figure out the things that are holding you back from getting you to where you need to go.
So if those questions are scary or intimidating, good. Also, though, yeah, we're here to help you work through that because we know that it takes prompts, it takes questions. We're not just giving you this in a one-night thing. We're going to be covering this. So definitely there's going to be a lot more material backing this up to help you answer those potentially daunting questions.
Yes. Right. And we want to take the hike with you. We want to go with you on this path and untap you into your full potential. Untapped.
Untapped.
Untapped. Okay, so I think again, these are the questions that we want to wrap up on. We want you to start asking. And again, with what you said, these questions can seem daunting. They're daunting, but they're the questions that you need to ask yourself.
Most people, I'm going to go on a limb here. Most people don't have the courage to answer these questions. And that is why, statistically speaking, most people are not, if nothing, no other part of their life, if nothing else, they're not in a job or a career they want to be in because they're either A, not taking the time, or B, not bold enough to get in the face of these questions and answer them.
And that's what you just said there is, and I mean, it's being a coach, it's hard. It's sometimes heartbreaking because and it's even hard to say this is many times you want to help so many people, and I hear that all the time. It's I don't have time for this. And if you want to change your life, if you want to change the outcome of things, you're going to make it a priority. You're going to make it a priority to make the time and find the time. And frankly, that's what I did. I started surrounding myself with people who had that mentality to make the priority to get different results than what they currently had.
Yeah.
And so again, we're going to ask you the question: what would that look like? What would it look like to live life on your terms? How do you get there? And again, back to those key questions: understand where you're at, identify what's holding you back. We're going to work on creating a vision, and we're going to build out a plan for where you need to go.
Yep. Because yes, dreams always. So vision is so important, but then equally important, okay, now follow it up with action. You can't just keep it in your head or on a piece of paper. Yep. So we're going to be helping you, like Matt just said, figure out where you at currently. What vision do you want for your life? Okay, now what are the plans? What is that plan and the action steps you need to take to help you get there and not just sit stagnant? So.
Surround yourself with people who are taking action.
Yep. Okay. Dreamer and a doer.
Yep. So this is what it looks like. We're going to be doing sessions twice a week. These are the 8 key areas that we're going to be covering. This is the intro session that we're giving you an overview, an idea of what this stuff is going to look like for you for 8 weeks. The key things that you're going to work on to create change in your life. We're going to understand patterns and habits that you do. We're going to work on creating that vision of your life, right? That thing, you want this, you got to draw it out. You got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So many people don't even ask the question, what do I want in life? We're going to work on that when we create a vision.
Heck yeah.
We're going to put steps in place with goal setting. We're going to figure out we're going to show you steps on how to measure goals and how to get them in place to start doing them. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to go into details on money and business and financial literacy. It's a scary one for a lot of people, but we're going to get into some details of that.
We want to hit a few key, really saturated topics that we thought would help you guys out as you kind of go through this broader vision.
Yep.
And such.
Absolutely. Health and wellness. You're taking the lead on that one. That is Lauren's go-to. And then we're going to help you, wherever you're at. The last 3 with finding and understanding your niche and focus, getting your mindset right, and limiting beliefs and crushing fears. Those 3 are going to feed into each other. And we're going to dive deep into things that really are holding you back. And it's we're going to get into some personal stories of things that hold us back and get into those details.
As far as location and registration goes, so if you're watching online, ta-da, you have your location. That's easy. These are going to be recorded for you guys and available to view. You can tune into them live. We'll have more details on that, but you can also, they'll be accessible for you to watch at any point. You will have to register for this course, and you can do that. We'll put the link below, but it's the untapped.co. You can register there. All the information's up. Yeah, that's the biggest part about registering. This course is going to start. We're going to start rolling session 1. Official session 1 is going to be next week. Correct? Next week?
Next week.
So make sure you got some time to think about, is this something that I want to do? Is this going to benefit me? But the answer is yes. And yeah, we'll start next week. So make sure, if you guys are interested, head to untapped.co. We'll have that link below, and get signed up.
Yeah. Post it in the group.
Also, DM us or comment if you got questions too. You want follow-up information. I and Matt are both happy to answer those questions and give you whatever you need before you start.
Are you ready to grow?
Are you ready to grow? Let's go!
All right. This has been fun. Good stuff. High five it up. Yes.
See that virtual high five? Right,
virtual high five. Or you can give yourself a personal high five. That's what I learned.